It is the last frontier on Bougainville. You know, I've seen now because of social media, there's a lot of, you know, there's a Bougainville forum and you have pictures of Mount Balby, and then there's also some photos that I see on Facebook, Lake Bill Mitchell, I think.
Billy, it's just close to Mount Bana, in the sort of, you know, just past West Coast, and you have Torokina, and just below the below the Mount Bagana, you have this crater. I mean the Mount.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. Yes.
So there's two ranges in Bougainville. There's the Emperor Range.
Yes.
And the Crown Prince Range, huh?
Yes.
So which is the northern range?
North is the Emperor Range. So we've been working. Yes. So it's still, you know, unbroken. It's just like that, you know. It's just now, you know, up to us to sort of, you know, maintain it. So after you have the Emperor Range, you have just Torokina onwards to southern Bougainville, you have Crown Prince, and like Panguna Mine, it's within Crown Prince.
So Kunua, you know, the transportation to Kunua is a little difficult. It's off Kunua is off the beaten track for anything almost. It's like the last Garden of Eden in Bougainville.
True, man.
And it's made of extensive plains, flatlands. So tell us a bit about the community and what you know. What is the aim of the conservation and cultural work that you're doing there? We cannot talk about conservation until we address the culture as well, people.
Exactly, Patrick. You know, that's very. I think that has been our, you know, our sort of advantage that we have in the Pacific. You know, in the Pacific and us in Melanesia, because I mean, because of this cultural richness that we have. I mean, our people are already connected to land, but also, you know, how do we add value to that connection? And I think through you know, this through science, you know, understanding the connection that we have in terms of biodiversity values that we have, you know, in the community, and you know, some of the, I mean, as we were just chatting about, you know, the importance of these islands, our communities have to understand that. You know, we cannot be ignorant anymore, and then we just say, oh, we didn't know that. But I think it's. I mean, I always say, Kunua is fortunate that you know, to have, at least I come from that place, and we are the ones leading, you know, conservation in the KBA, in the key biodiversity area. And also my plan now is go back and expand that awareness, that information sharing, and I'm gonna share my results, you know, from my study with the community, and then sort of setting what is it they want. And then I think through this research, we you know, we have sort of generated the baseline, understanding the species, and then the species are the evidence that this place is important for biodiversity, for island conservation in the region. And I gonna stay with that for Kunua. I gonna stand on that for Kunua, you know. And my people in Kunua have sort of realized that our place is you know, it's a key biodiversity area. You know, it's a place, it's a unique place where we have to conserve this. You know, they didn't know that, you know, and I didn't know that, you know, coming from there, you know, I didn't know about, like, you know, Kunua is, you know, is sort of that has that biological status, important biological status that we have to also, you know, consider while planning for conservation, for long-term conservation on Bougainville. So yeah, our people are just, you know, very simple. And one of the things as well, like Kunua is abundant in water resources. It's just full of water, and we are so lucky that we have that abundance of water resources. One of the things we haven't surveyed, you know, in Kunua is you know, fresh water. So I hope that David and his team, even, you know, you boys can come and help out maybe in the future very soon, once our movement is allowed, then we can at least we can go and survey. But that's my immediate task is, you know, to survey that fresh water of Kunua. Our people, very simple. We don't have any mobile network. And I like it in a way that it's just all, all just natural and fresh. For me, it's all fresh. Yeah, so it's now, just now adding that scientific knowledge to our people and then, do the long-term conservation. But no, sorry, not only for, the mountains, but also, looking at the marine. I think it's very important as well because we have these watersheds and also these, bogs, the swamps. They are also critical habitat for different species that we can add to conservation.
Just looking at the satellite maps of Kunua, West Coast, it's one of the longest stretch of black sand beach. So there's a likelihood of leatherback turtles.
Leatherback, yeah, man. Yeah, that's one of our. Both of us, we still have that. We have to tell the community to look out for that and maybe start doing some sort of the leatherback conservation as well. Just inform them about when they come, stop. Because they told me last time that they one leatherback came and they killed it. Them next time, please, that's the thing again. Goes back to the level of understanding our people have. They didn't know that this endangered species, but we tell them they'll know. So just I think informing our people.
So just another point is right now Bougainville as a whole is at a crossroad. It has probably one of the biggest opportunities as a emerging. We can. I must watch my words. Maybe
the words will be always sensitive, man.
Yeah, it's an autonomous region. They've come from a very difficult background, but this has provided the platform to reinvent whatever they desire for the future. It's a new plate.
Yes.
And they can create whatever they desire in terms of development, in terms of resource management, in terms of conservation, in terms of cultural heritage. And countries that have been doing the same thing over and over and over again, it's very hard to break that cycle, because that's
exactly.
Sometimes you need a revolution to break that kind of cycle. And Bougainville came from that background, and it has that new opportunity. My last, I think we can kind of wind this up, but my last question is, what do you envision for Bougainville and for Kunua, and how would you like to see this balance of conservation of the natural environment and also development to sustain the economy of the autonomous government and people forward? How do you see this balance?
That's a good question, Patrick. Across the globe, everyone wants to have that balance, the balance of extraction and the balance of conservation. But for us on Bougainville Island, it's an opportunity that, as you said, that we've come from that level, and we are still in that level. I still call it like that ground level where we have to think carefully moving forward. If it means to plan 100 years, if it means to plan 50 years, we have to think very, very critically about what about the decisions that we're gonna make now that can impact, our future generation. And we have this on Panguna. We still have these negative impacts of the mine, the and all these chemical spillage is still going on. And just recently, I think they've agreed to sort of address that. And I've seen those communities, like it's all gone. It's a permanent damage. Once you extract something underneath, it's gone. It's permanent. You cannot replace it again. You cannot bring a soil again and trying to put it back in where you got it from. We can do our little gardening and that's but like going beyond that, it's we have to think carefully, And I think one of the things that we have now, the opportunity is to have, laws that govern, how we can survive, 100 years time or even beyond. And always, for me, for us, we have only limited time. And it's the future generation that gonna face the consequences of our decision making now. If it's good, then it's good for them. If it's bad, then it's bad again. And I think, as you said, Bougainville is at the crossroad. I for one think that it's an opportunity for us, to move forward. But then just move forward without thinking about our past. We have we have learned from our lessons, right? From Panguna, from the war, and we've learned. So it's now going to the future and making the better decision for our future. Better decision that we can do now in terms of research management. If it means to to redevelop Panguna, what are the technology that we have to minimize the impacts of environmental pollution and degradation. That's my question. Like, what is even like in Kunua, if they want to develop Kunua, for whatever minerals that they have, that we have, like what is the technology that we have that that is out there now that can minimize environmental impact? But I still believe that, we have so many watersheds, and I don't think that should be a good idea to do. And the challenge, one of the challenges I see in Kunua. So we have these Upe people, these traditional people that people that wear this. They live in the interior of the jungles. So for us to do mining, I don't know where we're gonna relocate them. It's against their tradition. So these are the things that we should think about. We just only think about like minerals, but we have to think about what's on top of those minerals, the people, their culture, identity, and all that. And it's cultural for people in, I think in Melanesia as well, just like in Kunua, wherever you have a dead person, that wherever the blood spilled, it's it's a taboo. It's a secret place now. And whoever that tribe, that person belongs to, the tribal group, they automatically own that land. So that has been our challenge, and we have so many legacy issues relating to Panguna. So it has been complex, but I think one of the things is to sort of address, I think, the current environmental pollution that is happening. I think that's one of the good things that should happen, while we are also looking at legislation of laws and the policies that can guide they can guide maybe extractive industry that we might have on Bougainville to push our economy forward. But also, we have cocoa and copper, and we have fish. So we have these other alternatives that people are, the majority are still, they're working on the land, they are planting their cash crops, they're still doing it. In Kunua, we're still doing that, vanilla, we're going fishing, and I want to leave that behind for our kids, for our future generation. Copra agriculture, we can still do that, even ecotourism. And that's why I think one of the plans is to go back and talk to the people about what are the ecotourism opportunities as well, while we are serving the place. Of course, maybe the challenge would be getting people to come and see. But I think creating that space for our kids to learn themselves, that's an opportunity. We don't necessarily need to rely on people coming from outside. Ourselves in the community can teach ourselves as well, while we have the species coming to our community. Oh yeah, there's a species there, so ourselves teach ourselves as well. And maybe our friends from the Solomons, our Wantos from the Solomons can come and visit, and we can create these relationships. We still have the relationships are there, they're traditional. It just maybe the knowledge. I think that's one thing, and educating what we can learn from the Solomons in terms of management, and what we can learn from others as well in the Pacific or in the region, about how we can collect those learned lessons, those good lessons, and we can profit from that in terms of education or in terms of other activities that we can do. So I mean, as you said, Patrick, you know, it's a golden opportunity that we have to start, you know, properly and build it up. It might take time, you know, why not? If it takes time, you know, I mean, why do people want to rush, you know, in terms of, oh, let's quickly extract, you know? If it may not take time, so be it, you know. Let the you know, journey take its course while we are just, you know, stepping with the journey or going with the journey. That's what I think. Yeah. People want to rush to just, I don't believe in that rush. If it means to take time, if it means, you know, for people, I mean, for our kids to develop Panguna or maybe other resource industries on Bougainville, they can do it. Maybe once we educate them properly. But for me, it's just now, you know, focusing what we can do with the community and maybe help the future generation to do it properly.
So anyway, it's exciting to see what's happening on Bougainville with your work there, and also with Jeffrey. Jeffrey Noros work in Hawaii, and we'll definitely be in touch. And we've also talked about the Northwest Solomon Islands network of
that's good.
protected areas and all that. So, and you know, resource management areas. And maybe before we just close, a couple of years I went. I was passing through Bougainville, and we go across the border one time of boat owner in Buin. What struck me was that when we went across the border, the sea, if you look back when we were going through the passage, on your left side is Buin, on your right side is Shortland, and we're going northeast to Taro Island. If you look back on your left, Bougainville is so lush and green. You look on your right and towards the north, you find all these logging barges on the other side. This is this contrast. It just made me just think that we really don't know how we're managing and resources. And it just made me, and you're really right in saying that sometimes we can learn from species, you know, they're looking for greener pastures across the...
Exactly. I've seen them myself, like coming back to Bougainville. So it's a reverse dispersal.
Yes, reverse dispersal. But that is also true, because there was a while back now, but there was a paper that was published by Rob Moyle and Chris Filadi on reverse dispersal of some passerine birds. Islands are also sourcing continental islands and larger land masses. So we can learn a lesson from the from wildlife and the biodiversity that is around us.
Exactly. Yeah, well, I think that's very true, because it's very important, you know, to, you know, how, you know, I think learning from our lessons is the key, you know, moving forward. And that's why when I land on Bougainville, I go to West Coast, and I just love this, you know, the landscape and the mountains, the greenery, and people with just the canoe, you know, paddling. And, you know, when modernization is reaching us very quickly, like, you know, you still see this life, you know, where you belong to, you know, the canoe, the people living just a simple lifestyle, you know. I see that, bro. It's a nice, beautiful. Next time, you know, definitely we have to go there when you're free as well. I'll be there, so I'll be waiting, and you guys can come and join.
You know, very few places in the world where you can cross a stream and stoop down and drink from the stream.
Hey,
and that's very few places on earth that you can do that now. And if you can do that anywhere in the world, or in Kunua, that tells you something about the environment around.
Yes.
You crossing like before we could cross the stream and this
Yeah,
drink water
drink,
at
yeah.
the stream.
Yeah.
Now you can't do that because also all the login and all the
Sorry.
deforestation. But
Yes.
you can still do that on Kunua. So
Yes.
never forget that. Pick that place.
I think that's a good that's a good knowledge here to sort of I keep on telling our people that just minimize cutting trees, and that's one thing they have learned is about, like once me told them about this big ficus trees and all this about habitat loss. All this talk, we have to stop cutting, and I told them, of course we can cut trees for timber, like this big vitex and all this land, you can cut it, but if you cut one, maybe you plant, so we always think about our future generations. So cutting one timber tree, let's plant 10 more or even more. So I've been telling, so we are doing that. We are sort of restoring riverbank below Tripla Water Lopez. Plus also I've told the communities to do replanting of trees where we don't have them. So there's a sort of the community, one of the community activities that they're doing at the moment, Kunua, just reforesting different or halfway cutting finished.